Hello and welcome to Stories, the True and the Fictional. The podcast that revolves around one central theme, stories and the people that tell them. We'll talk about movies, TV shows, video games, historical events and weird news headlines. There's really no topic we won't touch. But it doesn't stop there. If you've got a story, something funny or random that may have happened to you or a friend, send it to thetrueandthefictional@gmail.com. Until then, it's story time.
My children, my fellow stories, both the true and the fictional, it is my great pleasure to fulfill my constitutional duties as elected host and supreme leader of this podcast to present the State of the Union. I did not ask for power. Alone on the island, I pondered my previous rule, determined to do things differently if given the chance. And by the will of the majority vote of the people, by the great Dr. J.A. Bryden, I was cloned and brought back. Granted the title of host, for that is given to me. But my right to rule can only be granted by the divine, the patron saint of Cat Graham, Rebecca Cassells of the Rising Dawn series. Those doubters have been re-educated. And under my leadership, I have rebuilt this nation. I have rebuilt our armies. Under my care, conversations on Henry Cavill and Henry Cavill-related topics have gone up 300%. Conversations on Cat Graham's illustrious musical career has risen by 1,000%. Conversations on Cat Graham's starring, acting, and legendary performances are up 2,000%. Scintillating scenarios between Cat Graham and Henry Cavill have increased under my leadership by 6,000%. And jokes about incest, applied or otherwise, are over 9,000. As downloads continue to rise, there will be those who disagree with our message of peace, of harmony, of unity. For all you who stand against me, against us, I have a clear message for you. In order to stop us, you may merely buy Rebecca Cassells' book of the Rising Dawn series, available now on Amazon. And maybe then you will have the power to defeat me. I leave this State of the Union in good shape as we continue to strive forward with our ultimate goal at hand. Our ultimate goal being a full motion picture of Henry Cavill and Cat Graham playing chess as the fans demand. Welcome, everyone, to the Stories, the True and the Fictional podcast. I am your elected host, Chris Park, and I'm here joined, of course, by Dr. A.J. Bryden, cloning expert.
A.J. Bryden.
J.A. Bryden, cloning expert.
You clearly have incest on your mind.
I think he was just moved so much by his State of the Union address that he was a bit flustered.
Bit flustered.
Yes.
How are you going, J.A. Bryden?
I'm going all right. I'm still a little what do you call it? Like, it's like a hangover, but it's more so when you go out and you get home really late and then you wake up, and I'm assuming this is how you feel when you're hungover.
I did
Well,
not.
but Christopher, who are you to say? You've never been hungover in your life.
Fair enough.
You're Korean.
And that's because he's never stopped drinking, So
Yes, the key to avoid a hangover is keep the buzzers going for as long as possible.
Yeah.
But Jamie, it could just be the fact that, and also that you had to go out and deal with people in a small environment as well.
Yes, that's very true. I did go to the first concert I've been to in 5 years.
So how was the Backstreet Boys?
And tell me of the Backstreet Boys.
Well, there was only one Backstreet Boy.
Okay.
No, it wasn't the Backstreet Boys. No, it was a fellow by the name of Andrew McMahon. I got to meet him as well. He's a cool dude. And I finally got my nephew to name his band the name that I came up with many moons ago. And all it took was one of his favorite artists telling him he should do it.
So what is the name of that band? I feel like we should plug them.
Yeah, no, it's my nephew's band. He's only 16, so he's only starting out. But his name's Oliver, and I've always said you should call your band Ollie and the Sea Pandas. Because it's ridiculous as it sounds. But I got Andrew McMahon to record a message, sent it to my nephew, and now my nephew's like, now I have to do it. So worth it. Completely worth it.
So it sounds like this was a very intimate setting of a.
Yeah, well, it was. It was the Factory Theatre. Have you been to the Factory Theatre, Ryan? Yeah.
Many times. I've seen the all-time low and You Found Glory there a few times.
Yeah. So Andrew was upstairs.
Okay.
And the singer of probably a familiar Aussie band called Tonight Alive. Remember Tonight Alive? Yeah. The singer's solo now, and she opened for him, and it's all chill acoustic and that. No, but it was a good show. Went for 2. He played for 2 hours. There was drunk people. A lot of Harry Potter references, so I'm wondering if this is a sign for me to play that game. Even though I don't like, I'm resisting because I don't want to like Harry Potter, but now these things are happening. And I'm like, oh, it actually looks like a good game, but I don't want it. But it will make me like Harry Potter. It will make me do all that stuff. And then I'll be like, oh no, I'm gonna watch all the movies, and I'm gonna be like, no, resist.
Good, feel the evil stuff.
But yeah, no, look, probably one of the best concerts I've been to in a very long time. But one thing I noticed about the crowd, there was a lot of couples there, but there were reachers and settlers amongst all of them.
Interesting.
On both sides. There was attractive dudes who were with less attractive girls. There was attractive girls with less attractive dudes. And it was just interesting.
So, were you enraptured with the music, or did you have enough time to basically do the math and sum on who was reaching and settling?
No, well, because I had VIP tickets, so I got there earlier, and we had a lot of time to kill beforehand. But once the show got going, like I probably took 3 photos and a video, and then I was just kind of engrossed. It was such a good performance, and it's a funny dude. And he actually told us the story of that when he decided to break up his first band, they were in Australia, so he kind of blames Australia for breaking up the first band.
Outstanding. It sounds like a magical evening. And the fact that you even went with VIP tickets says quite a bit about who you are.
Yeah, no, well, it was my brother-in-law's 40th early this year, so I got him tickets to meet one of his favorite artists. So it was more so, the gift.
But then why did you have to go if you got him tickets?
Because I too like this band. I've been following Andrew McMahon through all his bands.
So did you get him tickets or did you get yourself tickets?
No, we're going to go anyway. But I got VIP tickets for his birthday.
Hmm.
That being said, when I got tickets for Weird Al Yankovic, which is he's coming out in a few months, I almost got VIP tickets, but they sold out.
Of course they did. It's who doesn't want to who doesn't want to ask him about the infamous "Eat It" song and Michael Jackson's ripoff of that? And...
Yeah.
I just wanted to ask him how did he get involved in, or someone in his family get involved in necromancy to bring him back from the dead?
Yeah.
According to his biopic, he was shot.
Exactly.
Rose from the grave. So
yeah.
I mean, that's probably the most accurate biopic pick I've ever seen recently, in recent memories. I mean, there's of course the Queen one where the Queen band decided to go, we want full control and censorship over our life story. Let me just cut out all the bits that you don't want to see.
I mean, that'd be pretty amazing. Like to, you get to the end of your life and you go, nope, that didn't happen. That didn't, just to pick out all the,
But then you have Elton John who just goes, meh, include it all.
Yeah, which I have great respect for.
No, I do. I respect that. He goes, yep, put it all in.
Like this is what happened. Like this is why I hate reading up on historical movies.
Yeah.
Because I'm like, that didn't happen. That didn't happen. That didn't happen.
Well, I think the statistic, it only has to be like 13%. But if you want to say your movie's based on a true story, it only has to have 13% factual information.
Yeah, well, it's always based on a true story or inspired by true events.
Yeah.
Outstanding.
Mm-hmm.
Now, we're also joined by fellow story. I'm not sure if he falls into the true or the fictional category. Probably bit of both.
Well, we're just talking about true and fictional historical movies. So, Ryan, are you based on any?
Are you based on a real Ryan Haig, or are you inspired by Ryan Haig? Or
look, I can confirm, I cannot confirm nor deny whether I am actually a fictional character or a character of truth. I like to think part of my life is lived in fiction. But part of it is actual factual information. So factual. There you go. I'm a poet and I didn't even know it.
Actual factual information. That doesn't sound like a real. Oh no, that sounds right.
Isn't that what our government supplies to us? Actual factual information.
No, they've removed the veil altogether now, and now they're just like, shut up and take it. You like it, don't you? You like a big mean government, don't you? Dirty citizens.
We've wined you and dined you. Now we're just using lube, okay?
Exactly, that's right. You voted for us. You wanted this. You voted for us. Yes. Tell me you don't like it. Yes.
You know what you want? Man. You want to be taxed more. More tax.
You dirty boy.
You know what? We're not going to tax you 4 times. Now we're going to tax you 5 times.
Oh my God.
I love our government. They are like, again, the State of the Union. I wouldn't be surprised if very soon our government basically declares itself the first galactic empire for peace and safety of all. And
no doubt, and the majority of Australians would accept it. Oh yeah, sure.
And you know what happens when they declare them the first galactic. Chris, that's when you pick up your lightsaber.
That's right. That's when we'll have to basically. It's like, well, someone needs to blow up the damn Death Star. Here we go.
Exactly. Yeah, I'm sure there was one air duct in parts that you could just shoot a missile through and it'll just blow the whole galactic empire up.
But the one thing that gives me hope, Chris, is the fact that when it comes to military, Australia is behind everything. We are the first galactic empire. However, we can't quite get to space yet.
That would be yeah. So we would probably be taken over by the Chinese pretty quickly.
Yeah. And then we would be galactic empires by association.
By association.
Yeah.
That would be that. I wouldn't mind. what's one tyrannical government versus the next? I mean, it's all really the same. So it's like, one tyranny is probably like, I would say probably we've got, if there's Coke and Diet Coke, I think we've got Diet tyranny, but like
or tyranny no sugar or something like that.
That's right, tyranny no sugar, or like, oh yeah, tyranny max. Half the punishment, all the tax. Tyranny max.
There you go. That's the slogan, right?
Oh my god, that the government needs to do that now. They need to come up.
No. Now you need to buy that domain name. You need to copyright that so that they have to pay you for that. Damn it.
Yeah, but then he would get taxed on that.
Half the punishment.
It's just like when you hear someone, oh, they won lotto, oh, they won $1 million, and then the government's on their door going, no, sorry, you won you won 430,000.
Yeah, 400,000.
Yeah, I wonder, like, once you win that, how quickly does the government go, hi, how's it going?
I think it would be tax when tax time comes around, and then the people have spent all their money and they're going like, oh,
and then the government's like, you need to set out, you now owe us $600,000. Would you like to pay would you like to pay $10 a week on that?
Yeah, see, the government knows that they'll never be able to pay back, so I think they probably take it before just so they can make sure they get it, just so they can be like going, well, hang on, let me take some cash from your pocket.
Let me just take it now. I'm doing you a favor.
That's right.
So you didn't know.
Speaking of doing us favors, this podcast is not possible without our great and powerful patron, Rebecca Cassells, of the Rising Dawn series, available on Amazon and Kindle and all of the famous book places you buy books and read books about werewolves, romance, storytelling, and of course, not at all a small piece of erotica involved in that particular scenario. She's obviously a world-class author and obviously working with J.A. Bryden on a very exciting project coming up very, very soon.
Yes. Okay, sure, we'll go with that.
I wonder how many people actually listen to this and go, oh yeah, I don't mind Jamie's work and I don't mind Rebecca's work. I'm looking forward to that collaboration that doesn't exist.
Yet.
No, unless it's Night J.A. Bryden and Rebecca Cassells.
What this is, Ryan, is like that wonderful episode of Supernatural where the ghost faces go to the haunted house, and it was basically a ghost that was willed into existence.
Yeah, I get you. So you're hoping that people will will yours and Rebecca Cassells collaboration into existence. Okay.
That's exactly what that's what Chris is doing.
Fair enough.
Quite successfully, I might add, to be honest. Like, quite successfully.
Apparently, there's already fan fiction about the book that hasn't been written yet. So we're doing something right.
It's bound to happen.
Yeah. Most of the fan fiction just includes, Cat Graham and making out vigorously without shirts on, which is fine by everyone.
Sure. What else would there be?
Yeah. And there's always a werewolf in the background, so we're covering all bases.
Multiple fan stories of them going, on a business trip, and then because they get on a ski trip and they get cold and they get stuck in a lodge, and so because they snowed in, they need to keep themselves warm, so they take their shirts off. And look, there's some scented oils and heated oils. We might as well rub all over our bodies to make ourselves warm, and then one thing leads to another. That's just that's unavoidable.
Well, to be honest with you, I actually saw this one on Reddit the other day, where Henry Cavill and Cat Graham, they were co-workers, and then found out they were related and started a relationship. I think it was written by a C. Park, but I'm not 100% sure. But look, it was a fantastic story. There was lots and lots of incest. And I
see that sounds more like Night. That sounds more like Night Jamie's kind of work.
No, you see, if it was C. Park, it would be edited on Wikipedia.
I've always wanted to do that, but apparently, the bigger stars pages are fairly well monitored, and they change it back pretty quickly. You can't.
See, that would be an awesome goal for us to have, to one day see someone has edited Henry Cavill's or Cat Graham's page that stayed up longer than 60 seconds to
Yeah.
say that
Oh,
they're in an incestuous
no.
relationship with each other.
No, well, you just do that and then take a screenshot, and then it's for there forever.
Yes.
But Ross Noble got away with it for a while. And what did he do? He said Ray Martin, so a TV host in Australia. Ross Noble went onto Wikipedia and said Ray Martin has children's feet and he wears shoes inside shoes to make him look like he has big feet.
And look, but maybe Ray Martin saw that because he's known to be a pretty decent bloke, and he's gone, you know what, I like that.
Anyway, look, I was going to do something a little bit off guard, avant-garde,
Avant-garde, eh?
avant-garde. No, well, there's a lot of information that came out, a lot of things that came out this week, so I'm just going to like spit through them because they're worth talking about. But don't spend too long. But the first one that came up, which I thought was super interesting, is that apparently, don't take my word for it, scientists to engineer woolly mammoths return by 2027. So basically Jurassic Park, but with woolly mammoths.
Is this something that we want though? Because they're pretty powerful.
Well, that's that's my thought exactly.
They're very big. I mean, essentially powerful. They are, yeah. They're very, very large elephants.
Yeah.
Like,
and I'm like, are we allowed to have a say in this, or do scientists just go, you know what? I'm going to make me a woolly mammoth.
you know the answer to that, Jamie.
Yeah.
Well, did we not learn anything from Jurassic Park? I mean, seriously,
No.
like,
well, they're probably thinking, we're not going to make it a park.
yeah,
We're not going to
it's going
invite
to be a
people there.
wildlife refuge or some shit.
Yeah. And
I don't know about that, because I saw an article a couple of years ago where they're like, scientists are now using lizard DNA to help amputees grow back limbs, and I'm like, this is how we get a lizard situation.
This is how
Do we
we
really
lizard
want
men.
that? Like, do we want a lizard, or like that is literally exactly how it happens?
We don't want lizard men attorney at law. Thank you very much.
Lizard men.
Do you think these people get their ideas from the shows, or the shows?
Yeah, I'm 100% believe that people are just sitting there watching animated Spider-Man comics and movies and stuff, and like,
That makes
lizard
sense.
DNA growing back. Let's try that.
But I wonder if it's more like, let's say that there was a scientist's ball, a hangout. Then like several scientists got drunk and then watched Jurassic Park afterwards. And then like one drunk scientist, we'll just call him, I don't know, James Bryan, for instance. He's sitting there with his beer, cracking it, going, look at their splicing technique. I would never splice it like that. I would put in controls into my science work. And then his fellow scientist Ryan A. Haig would be like going, your theories are whimsical at best. You don't have the practical knowledge to clone something. And they go, oh yeah, well, watch me. Just watch me. I can do better than you. And then basically they've egged themselves on. Now they're making woolly mammoths. Essentially, this is how it happened.
Yeah.
Well, I still think that seriously, Elon Musk is one bad boardroom meeting becoming the Green Goblin.
I've said that multiple times, and I think we all agree that he is one accident away from becoming a supervillain. Like just one, 100%. One small thing, and that will tip him off to the edge of supervillainism. Yeah. And I still maintain it's going to be a tragedy with his family. And
they need to have security around the clock. Like,
I mean, he's a billionaire. They probably do. Like, but all it takes is he might start the zombie outbreak. All it takes is the doctors, let's say he was at a charity event with his family, and there was a massive accident, and then basically all of his kids, so not just one of them, all of them. They're all in the hospital on life support, and the doctor from California, because they hate him, so they're a bit smarmy. They're coming to him and say like, Dr. Elon, we can't save them. It's impossible. And he will just get up in his calm manner, point his finger at them, and be like, you can't save them. You can't. And then he goes back to his labs and starts whipping up something. Goshkin's basically going, I can save them. And then basically raises them from the dead. but then inadvertently creates the zombie outbreak that we've all feared.
Or more from a technical side, he could transfer their consciousness into the Tesla cars, and then the Tesla cars go, great.
And then you've either got a Transformers situation or you've got a Terminator 2.
No, I so you're right. It wouldn't be a zombie thing. You're right, Jamie. He would basically put his family into artificial bodies. But then, in order to get the artificial bodies to work correctly, he would create an AI to basically make sure the bodies worked first. And so then he's obviously built an AI to help him manage the construction and manage all of the requirements of the artificial body without understanding what he's done. And as their consciousness go into the artificial body, the AI is meant to help them learn about the body, but the AI just destroys their personality, kills them instantly, but then takes their memories and pretends to be his family, but all infesting the internet, all in all, waiting for the time until they basically build more and more and more and take over Terminator style. Yep, you're right, Jamie.
And this is why you shouldn't buy a Tesla.
Well, maybe you should. I don't know. Like, I don't know where you stand. I don't know where you stand on that. Like, on living in a world controlled by robots.
Yeah. Yeah. All right. Moving on. In other news, have you guys heard they're doing a new Fawlty Towers?
A new
continuation with John Cleese and his daughter.
Yeah.
That's a bit odd.
I know. Everyone is a bit strange, but it's written by John Cleese. So what do you think about that? Should it be left alone, or should we allowed to bring in that old school comedy back to?
Yeah, but it wouldn't be the same.
I don't think they could do it.
The world we live in at the moment, it's like you wouldn't be able to get away with it. You know what I mean? Like what was I watching? I started after watching that 90s show. I started watching that 70s show, and even though that was only like years ago or 15 years ago, some of the stuff that they do and say on that show, you'd be like, you couldn't say that.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like you couldn't get away with it.
Yeah, but Ricky Gervais can get away with it.
Yeah, but he's like 1 in a billion.
Yeah.
But I suppose, I don't know, like, is John Cleese just bored at the moment? Like, is he bored in his old age? Does he feel? I always thought like he would be the kind of guy to say, no, look, that was for its time only.
Yeah. Well, maybe he does, because he's an advocate for the old school, politically incorrect humor, and maybe he's just like, I'm old, what are they going to do?
Yeah. Comic royalty, I guess. Look, I guess it's. I don't think there's no way it'd be the same.
No.
Even if he's like the biggest advocate in the world, it's still got to be run past someone. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Yeah. I would love it to be good, but chances are slim on that one.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But the news that got me excited this week was Amazon announcing a live action Spider-Man noir series set in the 1930s.
Yep. And I've heard Nicolas Cage is interested.
No, I know that they've spoken to him, but they're, haven't really disclosed that. But Nicolas Cage would do it because he's like Nicolas Cage.
And it is Amazon. Their handling of the source materials has been absolutely on point. Their work on the source, handling goods and being respectful to the law is just mwah. Oh, they are just the best at it. And so why are you excited about that?
Look, to be honest with you, Chris, like I definitely agree, because they have made a mockery of a few things, but some things like Invincible and The Boys, they do stick quite close to the source material.
And
for the Boys, the fact that they've gotten some of the things, they've got gotten away with some of the things from The Boys that you know what I mean, like. And Invincible, that's it. I just finished rewatching Invincible again, and that's a very, very good
series
adaptation.
And then you've got Jack Reacher, which is true to the source material. You've got the Terminal List with Chris Pratt. That's true to the source material. So
But yeah, I guess
50.
I guess you fuck up Lord of the Rings.
yeah,
People tend to remember.
It's like, that's
Yeah.
like six in
yeah,
the six in the win column kind
yeah,
of side. But
Yeah.
look, I'm excited. It's another Spider-Man property.
And
It's obviously set in the 30s, so it doesn't really impact too many issues. The comics are great. So yeah, let's see what they do.
yeah, yeah, and then I saw 2 trailers this week that I thought were fantastic. The one I shared with you, Strays, which is basically an adult Homeward Bound.
Yep.
That looks amazing.
With
It most certainly does.
Will Ferrell, Jamie Foxx, Randy from How I Met Your Mother.
Yep.
Yeah, about a dog that an owner that wants to ditch its dog, and dog keeps coming home. Looks hilarious.
No, that looks good.
But have you seen the trailer for a movie called Paint?
No.
Paint.
Oh, with Owen Wilson?
Yes, Owen Wilson.
No, I haven't seen it. It did pop up on my feed today, but I haven't had much of a chance to have a look.
It looks weird and
It's about that Bob someone.
No, it's not. It's Bob Ross without being
Bob Ross. Yeah.
So he's not Bob Ross.
Okay.
Different character name, but he's obviously going, yes, I'm Bob Ross, but I'm not Bob Ross. Kind of like what was that? I think it was in Deadpool, how they had
Oh yeah.
Bob. They had his sidekick Bob, but they didn't have the rights for Bob. But they said, it's Bob, but they weren't gonna,
So we're gonna
Bob,
call him Peter.
Carl Nardwell, a fictional character loosely based on Bob Ross. Okay, so
yeah. It looks pretty funny, but
Yeah, no, I'll definitely check it out. I did see it pop up on my feed, and the image that I got was Owen Wilson looking a hell of a lot like Bob Ross. So
so it looks pretty funny, but no, that's the updates for the week, my fellas.
Now, speaking of updates of the week, I did want to hear your opinion, Jamie, because you've been quite vocal on certain subjects surrounding Ninja Turtles.
Oh, okay. Oh yeah. Oh
and,
yes.
And the creation of new Ninja Turtles, where you've been basically said like, no, there are 4 turtles and 4 turtles thusly.
No.
But you seem quite excited
No.
You're
misquoting.
I am being the Western press and just completely changing
me
your
out of
words.
I don't like adding turtles.
Yeah.
If you create a new team of turtles, fair game.
Okay. But so can you please divulge your thoughts on
I've read
this particular?
I've read the comic. It's a sequel prequel almost. So it's like how like Arrow, how you've got the flash back to the island, then present time. So it's that kind of thing. So it's a follow up to the Last Ronin, which is a phenomenal comic, and it's called The Lost Years, and it follows the years between when the turtle before all the spoiler alert, all the turtles die but one. So if you haven't read it, skip this little bit, but it's Michelangelo, and so basically Last Ronin ends with 4 new turtles getting mutated, and there's 2 girls, 2 boys, which I don't have a problem with, because one, it's not Venus, and they actually look pretty cool, but I can't remember all the names. I know there's Odin, Uno.
Odin, Yi, Moja, and Uno.
Yes, that's correct. But look, I think it's got potential, because it's almost going back to and telling the missing link, like, because with the turtles, they get mutated. You see them as young for like 5 seconds, and then they're teenagers. But this is like the in between. So I'm intrigued. It's well written. That comic is well written, and I think that's what's getting me going.
I'll have to check it out. I hadn't even heard about it, which is strange.
I stumbled across it, and I was like, "Oh, there's more. I got to get me some of that."
And the best.
So what's it called? It's called The Lost Years.
The Lost Years.
Lost
Yeah.
Years,
Okay.
So it's a second to the last one. And the best thing about it, in my mind, is they've taken my biggest criticism of the turtles, which is, what species of turtle are they? They're all they're all like this generic blob-shaped turtle.
Dude, they're pet shop turtles. That's what they were originally.
But in this one, that's very clear. They're 4 distinct species of turtle.
Yes. Well, they
And-
clearly heard you because this is like set in the future.
Yeah, so
Far in the
and so I do like the designs where they're very different looking. It's very clear that
I'm gonna have to look this up actually.
and so I do like the 4 turtle designs. I'm a
Yeah.
very huge fan
Issue
of the look.
Yeah. Issue 1's only out. I've pre-ordered issue 2.
Obviously, you
But
have
there
them.
was a scene. I was just reading this scene, and I was like, Chris is gonna flip and love this. And it was like Michelangelo's. He's lost all his brothers, his family, so he literally goes up to the mountains to solitude and all that. And then these guys stumble across him, and it's like, what's this freak, man? They start beating the crap out of him, and they have these flashback, and he's like going like, oh, what would my brothers say? And they're like, oh, Raph would say some, come at me, or, some come at me, bro, or whatever, like tough guy or whatever. And Mikey just doesn't want to fight. And then he hears the words of Splinter, and he's like, oh, you got to fight or whatever. And then he just basically annihilates them, just
Nice.
obliterates them. And then they ran away.
Oh wow, they are completely different
Yeah.
species. Looks like there's a snapdragon, a snapping turtle. Oh
Yep.
wow, okay, cool.
So what's cool about them is that it doesn't mess with the source material. It's a new story. It's
Yeah.
They got some new turtles. They didn't go to a pet shop or anything like that.
Mhm.
And it look, I'm okay with it because, like I said, you're not adding a new turtle to the team.
Yeah. No, look, I'm definitely going to check it out. I love The Last Ronin. I thought that was a great.
Yeah.
I don't know anyone who could have expected it to be Michelangelo.
Yeah. No.
Of
Yeah.
everyone that I've spoken to that's a Turtles fan, it was like it's either Raph or it's Leo.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, I'm definitely going to check it out.
I'm waiting for him to make a cartoon movie. I'd want him to do a cartoon movie of Last Ronin.
Yeah.
Because if they did,
Definitely.
if they did live action, it would be
Yeah.
it would have to be Daredevil level, like
Yeah. But before we move on to the main topic, there's one other bit of news that I think broke today. It's very heavily hinted as. Have you guys heard the news about the movie? Obviously, it is moving forward with Ezra Miller.
Oh, Flash, yeah.
Yeah, there's been apparently some reports of Mr. Christian Bale filming some scenes for the Flash as
Batman.
Mr. Bale. It sort of dropped today. I read that earlier today. So
yeah, the rumor. Yeah.
Mhm. That he was shooting some scenes for it. Now, look, it is at this stage just a rumor. It's not going to be something that I think Warner and DC are going to confirm because obviously they want to get it like a. It wouldn't surprise me with No Way Home. They probably want to get it like that kind of a surprise. But
Yeah.
we know we're getting Keaton apparently still for that movie. But yeah, apparently Christian Bale has reportedly filmed some scenes for that movie. So what are your thoughts on that?
Well, look, he'd play a killer old because he's like over 50 now, isn't he?
Yes, he is.
Yeah. So it'd have to be old man Batman, which is like still one of my favorite animated movies. I think
The Dark Knight Returns.
where he comes on horseback.
Yeah,
One?
Dark Knight Returns.
Yeah. I was just like,
That's Frank Miller who gave us Sin City and stuff like that. He's brilliant at those kind of stories.
I'm like, yeah, Christian Bale would nail that kind of Batman. 100%. What are your thoughts, Chris, on Mr. Bale returning?
I don't want to give myself hope. So much like the greatest meme of all time, don't give me hope. I'm gonna Ronin that.
Well,
honestly,
Natasha,
if he does come back, it's just going to be like a Tobey Maguire, Andrew Garfield. It's going to be, I think it'll just be for the one movie.
Yeah.
I think they're just trying to capitalize on the success of No Way Home, to be honest with you. They still, I mean, the fact that because they dropped a new poster for it today too, so we know it is moving forward 100%.
Yeah.
But yeah, I thought that would look. I'd love to see Christian Bale, even if it's just for in a No Way Home style, three-way Batman kind of thing. Yeah, it'd be good.
And I heard another rumor, which was like, I was like, don't give me hope. About Andrew Garfield doing a third Spider-Man with
Tom Hardy.
With Tom Hardy Venom as the villain.
Yeah, I heard that as well.
No, that would not happen because, I mean, why would Sony ditch off their current Spider-Man?
No, he would. They wouldn't. It would just be a separate movie.
Yeah.
It's
And the fact that
honestly, it'd probably be
Yeah.
a third Venom movie. That's more so what it is.
I think because the first two Venom movies haven't been as well received as Sony would like.
Yeah.
I think if they're gonna do a third Venom movie, they're obviously gonna look to bolster it somehow. And you know, you've got that throwaway line from Andrew Garfield in Way Home. You know, he's like he
Yeah.
hasn't fought an alien or anything like that. And
Yeah.
if Sony want to end the Venom trilogy on a high, that'd be a hell of a way to go.
Yep.
it makes sense. I mean, he was a good Spider-Man. So
No, he's hands down my favorite.
He's great. He was a great Spider-Man attorney of law.
Spider-Man tax accountant.
I'm sorry, like, but he is the best Spider-Man, hands down.
Really? Okay.
Yep, 100%. And he looks like Peter Parker.
He does. He had the look and feel of Peter Parker, like the nerdy awkwardness.
Yeah.
And stuff. And I know I might cop some hate for this, Jamie, but I wasn't a fan of the skateboarding. I'm like that. The proper Peter Parker wouldn't be skateboarding or anything remotely cool.
No.
So,
No.
Jeremy, you
No,
know,
I agree with that.
my problem with Andrew Garfield's Spider-Man.
He's too cool.
No,
What?
I'm going to build I have spider powers. Okay,
Okay,
cool.
no, I've addressed this, but if you want to address it live on the podcast,
No,
I'm
I
happy
do.
to.
Hey, Oscorp creates this web technology for the tensile steel string that that could expand out and frame. Cool. I'm gonna order a whole bunch of it to my location. Great. And he comes home and the boxes arrive. He then unpacks it all and then makes the web shooters. And then when people try like, who is this Spider-Man? Any cop with a brain would go like, what is he leaving behind? Web. Send that to the lab. What's the composite component? Oh, I see a patent file on systems. Oscorp. Let me check the area of who's ordering it. Giant military corporation, airport, house in Brooklyn or Queens. Sorry, but like, wouldn't you be like, maybe check out the house in Queens, eh? Like, I think that might be the best place to start trying to find this Spider-Man.
Now, do you want to hear how they explain that?
Yes,
because they explain it in one of the movies. He ordered one box and then reverse engineered it and made his own version of it.
But still, you would still have basically at that point a shipment of military grade steel webbing component to Queens.
And don't you think he would like not deliver it to his home address?
Even if he buys a PO box and registers it, he has to register it with his ID, so then they would still know that he bought it.
Or he could theoretically deliver to this address and then kind of intercept it. Could be any address.
He doesn't. Again, the character doesn't seem like a giant fraudster expert. So the more likely thing he's ordered it to his house an idiot.
I'm more so. I would say, how did he make that suit? Because that's not just stitching lycra. That's like that's like a really good suit.
True. Look, and I think the best example of that they've done is Tom Holland's Spider-Man. That's why I think it's the better Spider-Man, because his original suit without Tony Stark was not a very good looking.
It was
suit.
like a tracksuit. It was like a tracksuit. Yeah.
And
then Tony Stark's like, here you go.
Yeah, and
I want to bang your aunt. Here's a suit.
Yeah, and then you use the chemicals in the science lab, which, as we all know, you can make meth with in those science labs. So he's basically using the chemical science labs to obviously create his web, which makes more sense than buying it from Oscorp.
Yeah, but if we're being honest, every single Spider-Man has flaws.
Sure.
All of them have flaws. And ceilings they stick to.
Oh, fuck.
Oh, man.
Hey, I was getting lots of laughs last night from my bad jokes.
Oh my god, I'm just.
What's that? I hear thunderous applause. Laughter and clapping.
I would like to take the moment to advise our listeners that any cheering and clapping they have been added manually by J.A. Bryan.
And I'd also like to comment that the jokes made by J.A. Bryan do not reflect the rest of the stories during the fictional crew.
You know what's amazing? Who edits this podcast again?
That's it. I'm also going to seek the lost recordings of this episode and release them on the interwebs.
See, I can make Chris say whatever I want. He goes, I would like you to know that all the jokes made by J.A. Bryden reflect that, because I can just cut out one word, you know.
Oh, look at you. Look at
Tech
you,
savvy.
Western media.
Tech savvy man.
Yes, but I think this is the first time to segue into our topic. What do you reckon?
I think
Yes.
it's perfect time to segue into the topic.
So Chris, lead us into this topic with the fan theory that you posed to me about one of my favorite movies.
Oh, absolutely. So
I think that'd be the perfect way to start.
I love that we're talking about fan theories. Sometimes fan theories are used to basically enhance the lore, make a scene, make a scene seems better. Sometimes the theory makes so much sense. It's the plug an existing problem within a storyline. Then a fan will go, but what if this happened? And you go like, oh, well, yeah, if that's the case, that makes complete logical sense. And the theory, the scene we're talking about is Back to the Future, where Marty is on the roof, and then he jumps off to avoid being captured by Biff. Now, how did Doc know he was going to be there at that very corner at that very time? The theory goes because he didn't the first time. He did it the scene where he to be the second time. And then I'm like, oh, that is perfect.
Yeah.
Even when Marty looks back, looks back again, and then the car's there, because the first time he looked back, then fell, and then he wasn't there. The second, the timeline we're following, he looked back again, and then bam, he appears at that point because he knows that's where he has to be at that moment. That, to me, that fixes that entire scene. I'm like, oh my god, that's insane. That's so crazy.
Yeah. But
that's very morbid. So Doc knows how to be there the second time because he's seen Marty splattered all over the ground.
The first time, yeah. So he knew what happened the first time. So he went back and because the cool thing about that is the Doc's like, don't mess with the timeline. But then at that one with that splatter, he's like, he goes, no, I will mess with the timeline. I got to save him. And so then because of his love for Marty, just throws out his own rules. And
but would you think that? I'd like to think it's a future Doc, so like almost like when he receives Marty writes the letter from the first one and says, do not open till this time, and then he took precautions. Doc took precautions.
I wonder if it's like one of those ones where he basically he'd fall and then lives out 5 years of constant regret.
Avengers.
And then basically then decides to do something about it after 5 years of basically then has that moment of as he's sitting there and really looking at the state of the world, and you hear this.
Does Paul Rudd, is he involved in this somehow?
Clearly Paul Rudd would be involved in some way, shape or form. It's going, what was Marty's girlfriend in that movie? Or Jennifer,
she'd forget Hope. Someone.
Yeah.
Oh, you're talking about yeah. So Jennifer married this person, and now they've committed a mass murder, and they've destroyed and they've done something terrible. So then he goes, but she wouldn't have been with that person if Marty was alive. And then he's like, yeah. So we're talking about fan theories now. Wow, I've never heard that one. It's very rare. I didn't hear that one.
When I heard that one, it blew my mind.
Yeah.
I immediately messaged Jamie. Jamie, this. And Jamie goes, "Is that real?" Because Jamie's going. I was like, "No, it's a fan theory." He goes, but it sounds like.
I want to believe it, but back then in the 80s, they didn't write very,
well.
No, well, they wrote well, but they never really had to think about too much. Like how we've been tainted by sitting there and over analyzing everything, going, but how everything has to be logically. Everything has to be logical. But yeah, I got a few articles, so I think Ryan, you got a few you want to share.
Yeah, I had to close down my window because my internet is rubbish, so I'm going to you start with yours.
So before I want to do one more before I kick it off to you, Jamie.
Cool.
Where Master Splinter intentionally gave the turtles weapons based off their personalities. Raphael is the most hot-headed and violent of the turtles. Raphael got size, a defensive weapon to help balance him out. Michelangelo is the most scatterbrained turtle and couldn't focus, so he gave him nunchucks, a weapon that takes immense concentration and focus. Donatello is tech savvy and relies on technology, so he gives him a wooden stick, teaching him that you don't have to have technology to gain strength. Leonardo, the most ethical of all the turtles, is given the only bladed weapon, the katana, as he's the one one knowing when he should kill and when he shouldn't kill. This is the weapon theory of the Ninja Turtles. Jamie, what do you think?
See, that's logical, but I know for a fact that when they made the Ninja Turtles,
I know you know the
it was a complete joke.
But
that makes sense. But that's again, how can we just explain this? Oh yeah, that works. That works. But
I know you've read the original thing, and that's not why they do it. But when you look at the turtles, and you read that, when I read that, when someone was pointing out that the weapons are going, nunchucks, you'd hurt yourself more than not if you're not focused, concentrating.
Exactly.
Michelangelo, the ADHD turtle, would struggle with that weapon. They would also teach him concentration and focus and discipline. And it's like, wow, that's a great theory.
And that's the beauty of fan theory. So I got an obscure one. I got a Kevin Bacon themed one.
Oh, I love Kevin Bacon.
Do you remember a movie called Tremors?
Yes, love it.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Do you remember a movie called Footloose?
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
Well, the theory is that Tremors and Footloose take place in the same town. Apparently the town from Footloose is same town from Tremors.
Holy crap.
The ban on dancing.
Looked it up.
The ban on dancing wasn't attempt to control the youth. It was made out of fear so it wouldn't wake up the creatures that,
Oh shit.
all the worms that are below the town. So, if everyone danced and tapped and all that stuff, it would wake up the creatures. So I think that's pretty creative.
That's cool. I like that one.
That's a very good one. I like that. But I literally I was bringing up my article. That was the one that popped up. So
all right, okay. Well, no. If you use that, is that 32 Bizarre Fan Theories, Brian?
Yes, it is actually.
Okay, you take a look at that one. I'll switch out to another one because I got
no worries.
All right, I'll do another one while you get ready, Ryan.
Yep.
Breaking Bad is a Walking Dead prequel.
Yes. I know. I've known this one from the very first episode, which is because they use a in The Walking Dead, the drug of choice is a blue crystal meth. That was Walt and Jesse's signature.
Yeah, the signature style of meth. Yeah. And they are done by the same company. So FX wrote and produced Breaking Bad and also The Walking Dead. AMC FX, same company. So yeah.
Another one. Just tell us whenever you're ready, Ryan. But another one that I've got that I know we've probably all heard is that the Rugrats are all figments of Angelica's imagination.
Yeah. I just read that one then. That's crazy, man. That's crazy. No, I got one here. This actually was one I was looking for. I just wanted to get the wording for it right.
Yep.
So do you guys remember that movie with Nicolas Cage and Sean Connery, The Rock?
Mm-hmm. Yep. Yeah, I know this one. Where they have to
break into Alcatraz. So basically, the theory is Sean Connery, whose character is John Patrick Mason, is actually 007, who was captured while conducting espionage in the USA after the events of the last Bond film with Connery, which is Diamonds Are Forever. And he was imprisoned in Alcatraz until he was broken out by Nicolas Cage's character. That's actually because you've all heard the theory that 007 is not a one person, it's a code name.
Yeah, it's a code name, yeah.
So they're saying after Diamonds Are Forever, Sean Connery 007 was captured by the Americans and put in Alcatraz, and that is actually the character that Nicolas Cage broke out in that movie.
Ooh.
So that's
a cool one.
I like that one. I really like that one a lot. There's another
there's-
weird one.
a
Another
f-
weird one that I read. Kevin from Home Alone. You know Kevin McAllister from Home Alone actually grows up to become Jigsaw from the
Yes,
Saw
I
movies.
heard that. I heard that.
Because
Yeah.
he's so like that. He got his start. You know, because he could have called the cops and run away at any time. He didn't have to do that to those poor burglars. Joe Pesci and Daniel Stern. They suffered torture. And then they say, yeah, he went on to become Jigsaw from Saw. So
Yeah.
there you go.
Here's one that's going to make you think.
Oh, okay.
Breaking Bad one. This is one of
Mhm.
my favorite ones.
Oh, I think I know this one.
Yep. Walter White didn't die at the end of Breaking
Mhm.
Bad. He
Mhm.
escaped and started a new suburban life in Malcolm in the Middle.
Yep. They actually did a skit on Saturday Night Live where at the end of, I actually recently watched Breaking Bad again and I found it on YouTube where he wakes up next to his wife from the middle and he's like, oh my God, I just had the worst dream. And he's talking through it. He's like, he's talking about, and I had this brother who was like, he was in the DEA, kind of looked like that guy from The Shield. And he's just crapping on. And she said, "It's okay, honey. It was just a dream." Like Saturday Night Live did a pretty cool skit. That was pretty cool.
Because when you think about it, because of all those events, he's now trying to remain calm and everything. So trying to change the way his life. Malcolm is extremely intelligent and obviously gets admitted into Harvard older and
Yeah.
And when before obviously his failings at the company, Walter White was this well-renowned chemist,
Mhm.
a genius, a savant of the field. So and then obviously during the show, whilst the dad acts all dumb sometimes he does crazy things like builds a giant an insane fighting robot, or does this insane things that he shouldn't be able to do. And it's going this
Dumb luck.
robot shoots bees. That goes, but humans can't be affected by bees. Aha! But the controller can. And so some Walter White slips out from those moments.
I got one here from, and now everyone knows the movie Grease, right? Grease,
All right, yep.
with John Travolta, Olivia Newton-John, and we know how it starts off. Sandy and Danny are on the beach sharing a summer romance, and have a nice kiss, and then all of a sudden she shows up at his school, and hijinks ensue.
Mhm.
Musical hijinks ensue. So basically, what they're saying is she actually died each that day, because in that song Tell Me More, when she's like, he said, I saved her life, she nearly drowned on the beach.
Yeah.
That she actually drowned, and all of this is her like heaven kind of thing, because if you remember at the end of the movie, they're in a car that flies away, and that's her finally ascending, believing that
Yeah.
she's heading to heaven.
Yeah.
So
I think that's the only way you can explain flying car at the end.
yeah, well, I mean, look,
End of
the
a-
rest of the movie would have been completely explainable if they didn't just take off in a convertible at the end of the movie.
It's almost like the Mel Brooks movies where it's it's like a period piece, or set back in whatever time, and at the end it just goes full. Oh, we're on the set, But I've got a good one for you that I know you boys like taking happy-go-lucky children films and making them dark, right?
Yeah.
You like that? Chris is smiling and nodding. Yes, yeah. Well, Willy Wonka sacrificed those kids
Mhm.
cabin in the woods style.
Yep.
So,
Wow.
the end of Drew Goddard's The Cabin in the Woods lays out a few rules for making a sacrificial offering to summon demonic beings to destroy the world. One theory noticed that Willy Wonka is basically following the same formula while giving children a tour of his factory. Each of the kids is one of the 5 archetypes that Goddard's film describes. Augustus is the whore, whose lust for food leads to his downfall. Violet is the athlete, who is gum-chewing champion brought down by an athletic challenge. Veruca is the fool. Veruca is the fool, a spoiled brat who blindly runs after for clearly dangerous squirrels in the book and 2005 film adaptation. She ends up in a garbage chute after demanding a goose who lays golden eggs in the 1971 film. Mike is the scholar, a television expert taken down by his arrogance. And finally, Charlie is the virgin because he has pure and innocent motives.
Jamie, I'd like to see your see your Willy Wonka
Oh,
and
okay.
and raise you another Disney, Mr. Peter Pan. Now, I
Oh,
don't know if you
okay.
guys have heard this one, but
Oh, yes.
there's a popular theory on Reddit, and you saying the Charlie and the Chocolate Factory made me Google it because I remembered it. Um, that the theory posts that Peter Pan actually kills the lost boys as they grow up, effectively serving as a magical, ageless tyrant in Neverland. The theory paints Peter Pan as the actual villain of the Disney movie, and every other character in the movie as an unwitting pawn in Peter Pan's murderous schemes. So it
Wow.
paints Captain Hook as a far more sympathetic character, as he's the only one to bravely, properly resist Peter Pan's apparently evil ways in the movie. So yeah, that's a thing. And there's actually a comic book that kind of explored that. There's a range of comics called the Zine Scope range. They do like grim fairy tales, and they actually explored that. They had Peter Pan was sucking the souls out of the lost boys once they reached a certain age, and Captain Hook was actually trying to save Wendy and the lost boys, and it's quite dark and interesting. So yeah. Because they say there's always the true, as you found out with Pinocchio, there's the real stories are actually nothing like
Oh,
the
the real
Disney
stories are
stories.
like
They're dark and
just
dark and dark.
twisted, dark, hilarious, like messes. I would like to throw some Star Wars ones in now because obviously that's
Yeah, of
so
course.
Just don't do the Jar Jar Binks one, all right? I don't want to do.
Oh, the Jar Jar Binks is a Sith
no,
Lord.
I won't do the Jar Jar Binks Sith Lord thing like that.
Yeah.
So I won't do that one. I'll do ones that that I the ones that I like, which is obviously Boba Fett. Boba Fett did kill Uncle Owen and Aunt Beru.
Oh.
There is a point in the movie where Darth Vader points at Boba Fett and says, "No disintegrations," clearly pointing his finger clearly at Boba Fett. And what happened to Aunt Ben and Uncle Beru in the first scene of the Star Wars? Crispy skeletons. Because you can't question us crispy skeletons of where the droids are because they're crispy skeletons.
Yeah.
So maybe that whole pointed like no disintegrations was a clear call, like going, I gave you one job, Fett, beforehand. Yeah. What did you do? What did you do? So I like that. I like that one. And obviously there's the Jar Jar Binks one. Another one from the new movie is that Kylo Ren didn't kill Han Solo. Knowing
his evil twin did.
Knowing knowing that
I know this,
knowing that knowing what Luke's told, Han for many years of how the Force works on the dark side, and obviously as we know in the movie, Luke had trained Leia as a Jedi Knight and Master, so she would have also told Han the same sort of stories. That if Kylo Ren kills Han, that's it. That's the turning point. So Han reaches down and activates the lightsaber himself. So then he's the one that does it. So giving his son a fine, like a sliver of hope to return. That's way better than what they've done. I like going, yeah, it's better than what you've done. Okay, that's fine. Yeah. I like that one. That's a good one. And another fun one. There's two of the fun ones. One which is Anakin Skywalker actually is Darth the Emperor's actual biological child. So he was the one that creates him for the purpose of bringing the dark side to the Force. And then a more like, I guess, an insidious ending one, which is basically Palpatine actually wins in the end of Rise of Skywalker.
Wow.
And here's how that theory works. He said, strike me down. He's telling Rey to strike him down, so then basically so they would become one. What happens at the end of the movie? Rey strikes him down, and then she picks up the lightsaber and activates it, and people go, "Oh, it's a glowing blade of the Jedi Temple Order." So going, yes, but as we now know from the Star Wars lore, a Sith gets the red lightsaber not from like when they activate it still would be the color of what their Jedi itself would be.
Yeah.
They bleed the crystal, they hold it in their hand, they pour their
Mhm.
hate into it, and that's what turns it red. Then they shatter it. That's how that goes red. So she hasn't done that. And that whole thing where she looks off into the distance and sees Luke and Leia looking at it, and she turns and goes, "I'm Rey Skywalker." That's not a nice moment. That's her staring at the Force Ghost saying, "I'm taking over. Try and stop me."
Oh, wow, that's
Okay.
pretty cool. Yeah.
Okay.
There's a Star Wars one that I heard.
I made up that was my one. I made that one up.
Well, you are. Does that mean you're a fan of the new trilogy?
No, I'm just saying that I would like that to happen because that would be a better. Because then
Mhm.
I would totally Winter Soldier that way. Basically,
Yeah.
the Jedi Order now fills the galaxy, but it's not the Jedi Order; it's a Sith Order posing as Jedi's.
Yeah.
And then
Like the Hydra inside Shield kind
correct.
of thing.
And then
Yeah.
somewhere off alone, a few Luke surviving students have to create a very small temple, and they have to now they're the resistance to this whole order of Rey Palpatine. I'm going, come on, that's a sequel trilogy. I could actually get behind it. Like, yeah, let's do that.
Yeah. I heard somewhere. I don't know if this was an actual book or this is a while ago, but I heard that the theory behind Bigfoot is that the Millennium Falcon landed on Earth, and Bigfoot is Chewbacca.
I like that. That's good.
It's a little.
Well, I've got one more that I'd like to share, just the very last one, and this is going to my topic of knowledge, and this is
wrestling.
No, Batman.
Batman, of course.
Batman. Batman. Okay, so hear me out. So this one is quite popular in the Reddit forums of comics. Alfred hired Joe Chill to kill the Waynes. Now,
shit!
So basically, this one, it actually ties into the fan theory that Alfred is actually Bruce Wayne's father. So basically, Alfred and Martha have had an affair. Alfred falls in love. He wants to raise Bruce with Martha, but of course, she would never leave a billionaire CEO for a butler. In a fit of rage, Alfred hires Joe Chill to kill Thomas Wayne so that he and Martha can be free to be together and raise Bruce as their son. But during the job, something goes terribly wrong. When Joe attempts to shoot Thomas, there's a struggle and Martha is shot first. He finishes the job and runs off. Alfred, grief-stricken and wrecked with the guilt over his actions, raises Bruce as a Wayne and never lets on that he is Bruce's real father, knowing that Thomas was a far better man and Bruce deserves an honorable father.
That is honestly, I can't even. I don't even know that. Ryan, what the hell? That's just because then it's like this. The reason why he puts up with everything from Bruce Wayne, the late nights, the violence, taking care of the Batcave, organizing because it's guilt. It's basically just he's just guilty. And the reason why no one's that just makes so much sense. The reason why he's like going, hey, raising that kid as a weapon. Is that the best idea? Hey, raising a second kid as a weapon. Hey, the last one died. Do you want to do you want to stop? No, okay. The commissioner's daughter. Okay, no. Let's get. Oh, she can't walk now. Oh, you've got a son. You're doing it. You're perpetuating the cycle. No, sure. Like the reason why he doesn't just say enough is because he can't. He can't take the moral high ground to Batman.
Because he knows the reason the reason that Batman exists is because of him. Yeah. So does that make Alfred the true main villain of Batman? Because he created Batman.
Oh my God.
So therefore, you know what I mean? Like he, and you know that like there's a lot of Batman ones out there. You know, there's one where saying Alfred actually is the Joker. He does that to build Bruce up and, you know, to give him a reason and stuff like that.
Yeah, I've heard that one where basically he hires all of the villains. Makes them dress up ridiculously because he knows that that's the only way Bruce can't cope with his death, and so he has to. This is the only way he knows how to help Bruce, basically punch out his anger against costume villains.
But when I read that one, I'm like, this is probably the one that makes the most sense.
Oh wow, that's so
that's going to be my last one. I'm just going to go mic drop there.
That's a holy cow.
my last one isn't as powerful as that, but this is it's an actual confirmed fan theory from our beloved childhood movie Aladdin.
Yeah.
where the peddler is actually the genie.
Yeah.
And,
yes, that one was confirmed.
It was confirmed because the peddler has 4 fingers like the genie.
I just assumed voiced by the same person.
Yeah. I mean, as a kid, you know, yeah, you're doing that.
Okay.
They confirmed it, and apparently they filmed or they made a scene where he reveals himself as the peddler, but they cut it. They cut it out.
Yeah.
Well, it makes sense because the peddler's kind of like the narrator of the story, and you know, who would know more about everyone and everything in
The man who's doing the framed narrative. Absolutely.
Exactly.
The man who's framing the narrative.
Yeah, but even that, what I love the most about that peddler scene is that when a lot of that movie was just Robin Williams in a room, and they kind of animated around Robin Williams. So when he was doing the peddler scene, he was actually in front of a table with a whole lot of crap on the table. And you know the bit where he goes, "It will not break. It will not break.
It will break."
So he legitimately had something and he broke it. You know, so it was improvised. You know.
Yeah.
It will not break. It will not.
Honestly,
that like even as a kid, that scene had me in fucking like that. That just blew my fucking mind.
Oh yeah, that movie's a classic. It is my number one favorite Disney movie of all time, and I can still watch it now, and I'm 40. So you know what I mean.
Yeah.
But here's the thing. Here's the thing on that. Those are the Robin Williams jokes that made it in.
Yeah.
He's a very blue comedian. I want to hear what didn't make it in. I want to hear like.
Well, apparently I think they still have it. Like there's like
they have it. They will not release it out of respect for
the Williams cut.
Yeah, but I want to like because again, I've seen his specials just before they things like I want to know what kind of jokes slipped out in recording, like because he would have been told like it's a kids movie, but when you're riffing things like it comes out. So I'm like, what kind of juicy jokes did we get that we're not gonna like?
So Aladdin, the R-rated version.
It would be the most blue fucking thing.
Yeah. And that's a little ironic because what color is the genie?
Oh, it's blue.
Yeah, exactly.
And to end up this on a wholesome, fun one.
Okay.
There's a scene in the Disney animated movie Moana at the beginning of the movie where there's a baby turtle that's about to be eaten by a bird, and Moana runs over with a leaf and puts a leaf over the baby turtle as it like crawls itself back into the ocean. It starts swimming away, and then as it starts swimming, it flips on its back and starts swimming backwards constantly. There's a turtle that does that in Finding Nemo, the far out nude turtle.
Oh yeah.
And the theory is that they are the same turtle. Apparently there is a Disney ride where you can ask the turtle questions, and if you ask it that question, it's like I don't want to go into all like conspiracy theories, but totally.
But yeah, there's a whole like we could if this podcast went any longer, there's a whole Pixar connection. They connected every single Pixar movie together by one small like a
and Frozen and Tangled are in the same universe.
Yeah, and then there's something like there's a cave drawing in Brave that shows Mike Wachowski and Inc. Like there's all if you Google it when you get a chance because it's too long for us to talk about. But
apparently, I mean, sure, we could do an episode on that at some point. But apparently, in all the early Disney stuff, they had Mickey Mouse was in every Disney movie.
Kind of like a Where's Wally in some of them.
Yeah, it's like one of my favorite shows, Psych. There's always a pineapple in every episode. Somewhere. You know,
but that Pixar thing is really worth a good read. Like every movie has some nod to another Pixar movie.
I like that,
and I like that too because it's you know I think it's a great way to do it. But
absolutely,
we could talk for hours on fan theories. Seriously,
I know.
You got any more you want to share, Chris? Or are you happy to?
No, I think ending it on wholesome Disney and the fact that Elsa's parents are dead because they went to Finn's wedding, and then later on you actually see Rapunzel and Finn at the inauguration, like they're physically showing like the two characters that look identical, saying they went there because out of guilt. I think that's a great way to end. But having said that, Ryan, You are the winner of fan theory. Congratulations.
Yes.
That's not a. Oh my god! Like
I had to have at least one Batman one, and there are thousands and thousands and thousands
that
of them on
was
Reddit.
an
But,
absolute
Yeah.
fucking gem. Jesus.
Yeah.
Like,
Well, if you listeners want us to revisit this topic, because there's a lot more fan theories, send us an email to thetrueandthefictional@gmail.com or reach out on Instagram, stories_podcasts. We do love good fan theories, but only good ones.
no, we like bad ones too.
yeah.
Oh, actually,
But Jamie, I actually heard there was one more fan theory that Rebecca Cassells' Rising Dawn series is the best werewolf erotica book out there at the moment. Is that? Can you confirm or deny?
I don't know if that's a fan theory. I mean, she has a fan club, so I'm
I
going to
think
say
that's just confirmed at this point now.
I
isn't
think
it?
we can just go confirmed.
yeah.
Yeah.
And if I don't hear from Rebecca Cassells, then it is true.
Yes, there you go.
And the fact that she's still our sponsor is one of the miracles of the
I
world.
don't. Yeah, I think there was an episode a couple of episodes ago where I thought we're definitely going to.
I thought, even I thought. Well, I thought like, oh, maybe that's too far. Let's see what happens.
No, clearly she's a very understanding, as well as being an amazing worldwide author. She's a very understanding woman and appreciates our sense of humor. So we thank you for that.
And as the patron saint of Captain Graham, she understands what I was trying to say. Anyway, as we do at the end of episode, maybe Joker also is Bruce Wayne's brother. And on that thought, I bid you adieu.
Adieu.
Adieu.